Festival of the Living Dead is a Tubi original directed by the Soska sisters. It attempts to continue the legacy of George Romero's 1968 film, Night of the Living Dead. And I personally think that this was a mistake. The film should not have attempted to set itself up as a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. There's no reason for it to do so. It's extremely tonally different and it adds nothing to this film. Where Night of the Living Dead was stark, political, and nihilistic, Festival of the Living Dead is flashy, chaotic, and steeped in modern horror aesthetics that feel more inspired by films like Zombieland than Romero's bleak social commentary. By marketing itself as a continuation, the film invites comparisons it can't possibly live up to, ultimately setting itself up for failure. It would have been better served standing on its own as a stylized zombie flick, rather than burdening itself with the weight of legacy. Ash and Luke are supposedly the grandchildren of Ben from the original Night of the Living Dead, though I do not remember Ben mentioning at any point in that film having a family, and he certainly didn't start one afterwards. And even if he did already have a family, how would they have gotten his gun, which they have his gun in this movie? Or how would they have known anything about his actions during the original zombie outbreak when he died in a basement and was burned in a pyre of zombies? Is this film just rewriting the shocking ending of the movie that started the entire modern zombie obsession? The film is set 5 decades after the original and follows Ash, played by Ashley Moore, and her friends as they attend a festival to commemorate the events of that film, only to confront a new outbreak of the undead. The characters include a pair of brothers, a pair of sisters, a brother-sister duo, and a will-they-won't-they couple that aren't related to anyone else. These relationships feel deliberately prepackaged, seemingly used as a shortcut to create emotional stakes without having to do the heavier narrative lifting of organically building bonds between the characters. By leaning on familial and romantic shorthand, the film attempts to manufacture tension and drama from the get-go, but it often feels hollow, as if the script assumes the audience will care simply because of the labels, rather than any genuine development or chemistry. The events of the film take place on Ash's birthday, and for some reason, her parents are out of town on her birthday, leaving her responsible for babysitting her younger brother on her birthday. However, her boyfriend, played by Christian Rose, surprises her with tickets to the Festival of the Dead, an event hyped as the Coachella of this universe. She decides to not only ditch her best friend, played by Cameron Bygandova, but she also convinces her to babysit her little brother while she goes to this festival to see their favorite band, Godzilla. Also, when her boyfriend comes over, he and his friends bring a keg over to her house, which they attempt to put in the kitchen, and she tells them to take down to the basement. So they take this keg down to the basement, and seemingly her boyfriend knows that they are going to this music festival. It's a surprise to her. It's not a surprise to him. He knows all about it. And so he knows that they're not going to be staying there at her house. So why would he bring the keg? And also, they just leave this keg there. They don't take it with them, and they just leave it in her house. When they actually get to the festival, it seems like her boyfriend didn't actually buy the $1,000 a piece tickets, and that the plan was always to just sneak in, which, to be fair, doesn't seem like it would be that hard to do, as when they arrive, the festival feels more like a cover band festival at Camp Zoo or something like that than it does a massive event like Coachella or Burning Man. It's underwhelming, poorly organized, and suspiciously sparse, which immediately undercuts the stakes and scope that the film is trying to establish. This disconnect between what the film tells us and what it actually shows becomes a recurring problem. Characters talk about the festival like it's a can't-miss experience, but visually and atmospherically, it falls flat. It's a microcosm of the film's bigger issue: telling instead of showing, and over-promising without delivering. Also, After promising to babysit Ash's brother, her best friend Iris and her friend Blaze decide to sneak into the festival with Ash's little brother Luke, which is just a terrible idea. I don't know why anyone would think that it's okay to bring a 10-year-old to a music festival like this, even if there wasn't a zombie outbreak. The film does employ practical gore effects to deliver some visceral zombie attacks, and the gore looks okay. It's nowhere near as good as the effects on the original Night of the Living Dead, but like I said, it's okay. The zombies in the film, however, are inconsistent. Their designs and makeup are extremely varied, with their movements ranging from fast-moving infected to lumbering Frankenstein-like creatures, and somewhere in between there are zombies who are just weirdly twitchy. And this lack of a clear standard for how zombies behave in the film detracts from the film's internal logic and contributes to a disjointed tone. The performances from the cast were pretty good. I hated every single character in the film, and every single person is a selfish asshole, but the performances were good. The characters also frequently make illogical decisions, and it's honestly frustrating to watch them spiral deeper into chaos of their own making. Given that the film takes place in the same universe as Night of the Living Dead, it's baffling how ill-prepared the characters are when the undead eventually arise. You'd expect after a documented and devastating zombie outbreak that society would have implemented some form of education, emergency preparedness, or even public awareness campaigns to implement in the event of a zombie outbreak. The film struggles to balance its horror elements with moments of levity, resulting in a tone that feels inconsistent. While the film handles its comedic beats with surprising charm, its attempts at heavier, more dramatic moments often fall flat, veering into melodrama that feels more at home in a teen soap opera than in a horror movie. Characters do die, yet the stakes never feel fully realized. The characters don't seem to take the zombie outbreak at all seriously, but really, it's hard to blame them since the zombies are not very menacing. As a result, the tension never fully escalates, and the characters' casual attitudes bleed into the audience's experience. It's difficult to invest in their survival when the film itself doesn't seem particularly concerned. While Festival of the Living Dead sets up a loose connection to Night of the Living Dead, it doesn't appear to have any real ties to either Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead. It's also not a particularly original concept, as a very similar idea was explored in Return of the Living Dead, Rave to the Grave. Quick spoiler warning if you've seen that film. The endings are nearly identical. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very satisfying conclusion either time. Both films fumble the climax, opting for a chaotic, almost cartoonish finale that undercuts any emotional weight or sense of resolution. Festival of the Living Dead isn't a terrible film, and there's an energy to the movie that suggests it was made with a lot of enthusiasm. Unfortunately, by tying itself to Night of the Living Dead, it sets expectations far higher than it's ready to meet. The film would have been better served by standing on its own, embracing its more playful, chaotic vibe, rather than trying to carry the weight of a legacy it doesn't really connect with. At the end of the day, Festival of the Living Dead is watchable and occasionally fun, but it falls short of being memorable. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 golden skulls. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, can you please hit the like button? You can also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be updated whenever I upload a new video. And until next time, keep on creeping on.